Students of Reddit, what is your favorite Zoom story so far? Someone kicked the teacher in the middle of them lecturing us. Someone's got balls out of the meeting, or actually fucking knocked them out. This kid is everything I aspired to be. I live in Lithuania, so most of my teachers don't speak English. Teacher, what does leave meeting mean? Students, in Lithuanian, it means leave meeting. Teachers leaves the meeting. Opposing lunatic 280 points 13 hours ago, edited 11 hours ago. He had enough of your class. Also, I've been to Lithuania last summer, it's a beautiful country. By the way, why do you have so many storks? There are enormous amounts of them everywhere. Kayat Jiao Jcito Klausimo Comentaris, Namaniao, Cod Top Comentaris Bus Liatuvio. Eagly_Pani 1.1 K points 141 hours ago, edited 9 hours ago. Con ATNMAMLO. O. Lome Laplamol Mlalmalel MLE Lute Manaler. X. Ola CEMNT. CE. Professor decided to unmute a classmate and get him to read the slide only for us to hear him getting yelled at by his parents. That dude just kept reading the slide while his parents yelled at him. Our professor didn't know what to do and just acted like everything was normal. He didn't unmute anyone for the rest of the class though. Edit, not my favorite Zoom story but definitely the most memorable. That's kind of sad. X. Hang on, you can unmute participants? I hope my boss doesn't find out about Lyre. What were they yelling about? There's a setting where your host can unmute you, but Zoom pulls up a little tab asking for your permission first. Equals your host is requesting to unmute you. Do you accept? Yes, no. Maybe the kid didn't have that setting enabled. I recommend it though. Joe 91198840 points 13 hours ago, edited 4 hours ago. A guy who woke up like 5 minutes earlier didn't notice, I hope, that his camera was on. He got dressed in front of 100 plus people. And this is why if I don't specifically plan to use my camera, I disable it in Device Manager. Yeah, I have one of those little plastic slide Y things on my computer for this exact reason. I'm honestly less worried about other people hacking into my computer than I'm worried about my own mistakes. Plus it slides so I don't have to constantly grab new tape or whatever to put on. And that's why I always leave your laptop closed until I'm gonna use it. Wait, did he join the meeting before he went to sleep? How is that even possible? Registered. I am pretty sure my daughter did this. I told her to go get dressed because she hangs out in her panties as much as possible. She got a dress and brought it to the living room to put it on. I set up here meeting AKD turned on the camera and she got the dress stuck over her head and possibly gave the class a show. Oh damn, oh damn. At the end of every single class my calculus teacher shows us his cats while Nyan Cat plays at the background. My calculus teacher was the best teacher I ever had. He was very honest about having failed calculus when he took it the first time in high school, so he made sure to teach it the way he wished he'd been taught. He sounds like a good teacher. That's amazing. My favorite part of Zoom classes was meeting professors' pets. It really helped brighten everyone's mood while we were all just trying to figure out what was going on and get used to the changes. Some students seem to think they don't need to wear trousers. And they also don't seem to know. LAEO. The combination isn't pretty. That a coworker adjusts the camera to show me something in their home. Got a quick shot of their undies. I think they realized it half a second after I did. So I looked away like I didn't see it. And will never mention it. Wear pants people. We played a Kahoot and the whole time none of us could see the questions. We had told the teacher over and over again and she thought it was something with splitting our screen, so she repeatedly told us, just switch tabs. She kept getting pissed so we just stopped playing it. Another time, a student asked if he could share his screen and the teacher said yes and left the meeting. And we just watched Peppa Pig for 20 minutes. Niles. Was it the episode that's banned in Australia? Another time, a student asked if he could share his screen and the teacher said yes and left the meeting and we just watched Peppa Pig for 20 minutes. Now this had me in stitches. We watched Peppa Pig. Our toddler's using Reddit now. I use Teams. And my favorite call is when I accidentally announced to my whole class one was going to go toilet. My mic was on and I didn't know it. It was super embarrassing, but now it's really funny because my reaction was super awkward. If you've the nerve, you could make it a running joke and make it your sign off. Teacher: okay class, see you all next time. Quote. Other students: bye, see ya, ugh, etc. You, don't know about you all, but I need the toilet. Bye. Guess same thing happened to my friend. Was sitting in class with my usual background up, and got hungry, so I decided to grab a snack out of the cabinet next to me. Come back to my teacher asking in chat, did I just see encyclopedia pull cookies out of a tree? Quote. One thing I've learned from school is that you can learn most of the stuff you need from the textbook and the internet. I know this because my teachers were garbage. One of my teachers managed to turn off her ability to see the chat. Nobody knows how. So, naturally somebody started typing the B-movie script. It escalated from there. Very interesting. Toll. A friend of mine was a top for a creative writing class in college and had a student submit the script of Shrek, with the names changed, for an assignment. He got reported for plagiarism and argued that it was performance art, so my friend dropped the plagiarism charge and gave him an F instead. Not really related, I just think about that all the time. Someone actually copied and pasted the B-movie script on a Zoom chat at my school once, so I can relate. I put the dark side of the Force as a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. El Siete. What is it with the internet and the B-movie script? Sounds like you were part of a social experiment. Back in the early aughts we had a desk where someone wrote, "I like big butts," on it. It was in the back of the class, so the teacher never noticed. A couple of weeks later it had the entire lyrics to "Baby Got Back" scribbled on it, but different people from different classes. Solely why we stan a legend. Someone, not me, tried the use Alt plus F4 trick and we all laughed. I'm suspecting that it was you. Not me. Of course. First day of Zoom classes, a kid fell asleep with his camera still on. Also, one of my professors accidentally kicked herself out of the meeting for 5 minutes. I had to explain what Discord was to my parents. My dad said once that I shouldn't get Discord because its name sounded like a hacking tool. Oh my god, your life must be painful. Can you explain it to me, or can you explain Zoom? And where do I go to get Zoom? There should only be one internet thingy, lol. Yeah, what is Discord? I have Discord and I have no idea what it's supposed to do. I made a Discord server for my class to chat on, and for some reason one of my classmates' mom reported it to the principal. Said the creator of the chatroom is bullying people. He kicks them out of the chatroom all the time. I disconnect them from the voice channels when they decide to go AFK to prevent background noise. They are sexting on it. Some kid typed an eggplant and peach emoji. They all get together to watch inappropriate shows. I streamed The Office and watched it with 2 of my friends. He even created countless different chat rooms to do this stuff on. I'm not even sure what her point was on this. But this is how a Discord server works. This is how the email from the principal of my school was worded to everyone. A lot of people's parents made them log off of the chatroom, but 2 of my buddies explained what happened to their parents, and the 3 of us logged into the server every day to chat while we did homework. Do you do your classes via Discord? Fragments of Emma 362 points 10 hours ago, edited 10 hours ago. Our teacher was screen sharing and I randomly discovered a pen button So I clicked on it and turns out you can draw on the shared screen. I just started putting some dots there, thinking, oh, this is cool. Quote. Then the teacher said, I don't know who's doing it, but stop drawing on my scan. I kinda freaked out and deleted it. It didn't occur to me that everyone could see it. XD. Just start drawing over the teacher's face. I remember 2 kids started playing tic-tac-toe when that happened in our physics class. You should have drawn a dick. Yep, and here. Not Zoom but WebEx. I defended my PhD thesis this spring. During the open questions, the dean of our school started to ask a question, but something was off with his mic and he sounded like a chipmunk, 100% chipmunk. I was still so scared I barely noticed and he typed his question instead. But after the fact everyone tells me it was absolutely gold. I attended a defense of a master's thesis via Zoom. The supervisor of the student emphasized several times that everyone must be muted during the presentation. Halfway through, the mother of the student starts speaking to whomever she was sitting with for everyone to hear. And the student groans "moom" in the best upset teenager fashion I ever heard. We use Teams. My class asked whose door's making that noise. I turn around to look at my birds, who are screaming behind me like normal. And one is somehow inside of one of the food bowls. They have covers over so only a small hole for them to stick heads in. Another one is trying to rip another bowl out of the side. And the other 2 are taking in turns sitting on top of each other's heads. The class quickly point to me as the culprit for the loud door. I got muted. I'm not a student but I work for a school district and we had a ton of phone meetings with various people. Every time we heard barking in the background, my boss would try to guess whose dog it was. She was surprisingly accurate. A lot people in town have dogs. And apparently, my boss has met and played with enough of them to recognize their voices over the phone. Every once in a while someone in my class will say, "Do I hear birds?" And I'll realize that mine have been screaming for at least 15 minutes. It's crazy how quickly you learn to tune them out. One of my older teachers didn't know what memes were, has no idea what she's doing in a Zoom call. A couple of weeks before we were supposed to go back to classes, the vice principal sent a message to all the teachers to screenshot their calls for the newsletter to show how we were coping as a school. Fast forward to when we're back, and my teacher had screenshotted our whole class with shitty meme green screens in the middle of the call. And one of my friends is the center image for the newsletter with the communist flag flying proudly behind her. This is just lovely. I would have chosen the couch. We had a Kahoot and over half the participants got the first question wrong, and this one kid that everyone makes fun of was like, "Am I in last place?" "I'm in 40th place." And then one of the seniors goes, "Probably. Is anyone lower than 40th?" I was in 41st but didn't want to say anything, and the poor kid got bashed by like 10 different people, and I feel kinda bad. Don't feel bad, it's just self-preservation. Kid brought it on himself for asking. Survival of the fittest. Damn. On April the 1st I recorded myself pretending not to hear anyone. Then put the video as a virtual background. Then went under the table, so that I wouldn't be seen in front of the virtual background, and started a meeting. People were giving me advice on how to turn on the microphone, when I literally jumped out of myself. Lol. You should have seen their face. XD. So the video was the virtual background? XD. Cyrus the Cray 219 points 12 hours ago, edited 6 hours ago. I was in basic French class and there's a short paragraph with a character named Vladimir. The French teacher asks who is Vladimir. In the story, the one Russian girl in class said, "A bad president." Let me guess, she fell out of her window a few days later. I'm definitely the dumbass in this. For context, as a joke, me and my friends have been coming up with pretty outrageous names for our Zoom quiz nights. Anyways, The day after my quiz, I have to show up to a workshop with one of my lecturers. And guess who forgot to change his name? I spent the rest of that workshop muted, video off and only, communicating through the chat so that no one knew it was me. And that concludes the tale of IESTE Avenue. See gay. Unless other people had nicknames, then by process of elimination they knew it was you. I did the same thing. Had to presented for 5 minutes before realizing my name was Lenny NS. No one said anything. I was playing Secret Hitler 2 nights ago over Zoom and I got Hitler like 5 times in a row. So I changed my Zoom name to literally Hitler. Fortunately, my friends reminded me to change it before my next Zoom lecture. So it is back to Vardy 1108. Something I witnessed online. We were bored out of our minds when this dude starts moaning and making random weird anime noises. He thought he was muted until the teacher starts to say, "I know you are very excited, but please mute your mic." Dude quit the meeting. Random weird anime noises. Please do not describe any further, that is enough. A work call story. One of my co-owners decided to get on with some housework in the background of the call, so left a clock with shorts on in front of the camera and pretended it was himself. He then added a banana and 2 balls. We don't get much work done. My sister told me her professor had a guest speaker but they couldn't get connected to the call, so the professor straight up FaceTimed the guest speaker and held the phone up to her computer. I got a lecture from a person that was laying in their bed while giving it. He is a university professor. I'd respect that. I mean, not like I'm not watching in bed. My professor's PC crashed, so while she was restarting, someone started screen sharing a modern TAR M1A. One of my classes, most of us got along real well and the teacher was chill. Plus it was in the evening, so a lot of us always got there early to chill because we had time before the class when it was in person. So we ended up just hanging out for like 30 minutes before class every day, just streaming video games and hanging out, which was real nice since most of our social interaction was suddenly drastically decreased by the quarantine. Niles. Some kid printed a black piece of paper with the words "reconnecting" facing the computer lens to avoid a Zoom class. The only reason he was caught was because the paper had "reconnecting" sick. What does sick mean? Sounds like he needs that class. Could have just set it as the background image without having to print out stuff. Palm_Duchess 140 points 10 hours ago, edited 10 hours ago. Belgian uni student here. 2 teachers quit their jobs a couple weeks ago. They held a Teams lecture at one of the teachers' house in the afternoon and kept it going until late at night, socializing with the students with a beer. Neighbors called the police because of the noise and the police showed up at the house. The police officers happened to be on camera because one teacher invited the other to his house, which was forbidden at the time due to corona. The police had the right to give them a ticket for that. The discussion got heated, and one teacher was seizing the opportunity to make some political and, under the Belgian law, racist statements, saying things such as Belgium is becoming a fascist state and comparing the police to Nazis, Heil Hitler, and stuff. The officers got pretty mad, but did nothing and left in the end. Of course, some students recorded the Zoom lecture, and the day after the incident, the whole university saw it. The board expelled the 2 teachers, but they quit in the end, admitting their mistake. It's a pretty big stain on the university's image. In my opinion, it's considered racist under Belgian law to call somebody a Nazi. Neighbors called the police over noise from a video conference, and police cared. I think I have to agree with the professor regarding the fascist state comment. The teacher had bad internet at the time, so he got disconnected. Some random guy got assigned as admin and unmuted us all. Eventually we all decided just to play a general trivia Kahoot with a new host screen sharing. To this day it remains the most exciting thing to happen in Year 10 science. PE teacher played "Never Gonna Give You Up" during workout for everyone to hear. Cancer 227,102 points 13 hours ago, edited 12 hours ago. So all my us dudes decide to enter the class using adult actresses' names. There is a list of people with usernames like Mia Khalifa, Riley Reid, Madison Ivy. The teacher was just screaming for about 10 minutes and asking who is Mia Khalifa while asking us to change our usernames and enter again. Would be funnier if the teacher went like, "Oh, I know Riley Reid, good actress, I have seen all her movies." All of my teachers have the waiting room enabled and just won't let you in if you have a funny tear. Female student forgot to turn mic off and began having sex during Zoom school meeting. It happened in Colombia. What's the teacher saying throughout this? One kid shaved off his hair and eyebrows on live a couple days before class, so when I saw me was take off your hat, and then the whole class told him to take it off and told the teacher what he did, so she was like, "Oh, I want to see it," so eventually he did, and then we spent the next 30 minutes comparing him to Steve Harvey and Lil Bill in the chat. Good times. Every day in class one put a random background on. One day was an optical illusion. One day a wall of toilet paper. One day the "this is fine" meme. One day a sped up version of a round of Plague Inc. Think I got bonus points on one of my chemistry tests for using a periodic table as my background. On the day of one of my tests, proctored through Zoom, I had a background on which took the old DVD screensaver, but instead of the logo reading DVD it said COVID. My teacher asked if I could turn it off, as it was distracting for her. I said of course, but I don't know if that'll be much better. I was in my mom's art room, so the background was bright and colorful and significantly more distracting than a slowly moving purple box on a black background. I took about 30 seconds in pain to make a solid black background, which she greatly appreciated. I was gaming and my teacher was calling me. For a moment I thought it was NY friend, so I was like, wait, shut up, it's a 1v4. I still lost that round. And my attendance for that day SMH. Imagine just being told, "Shut up man, I need to clutch this shit." That's a tough clutch. Was it casual at least? Our physics exam is about to get rated. That's gonna be a great Zoom story to tell kids when I am 60 after explaining how 2020 shit hit the fan. Record it. Share it later. I need to see it. I'm in Model United Nations. And obviously my state's conference was cancelled. My school's Model UN club decided it'd be a good idea to do our own little debates and resolutions online. We were writing some resolutions and I was giving a lot of input when the leader of our club goes, "Squawks, I love you, but I'd really like to hear from some other people as well." So of course I shut up and let everyone talk. Except nobody was talking. It was dead silence. I had only been talking to save her ass from the crippling silence she'd have to suffer if I wasn't there. But she hadn't seen that. And boy oh boy was it quiet. Our club leader is a junior. And she's a sweet person. But she gets a little ahead of herself. Sometimes XD. The one where I didn't join. Everyone started having arguments about Animal Crossing in the chat. I don't even know how to. Not that interesting. But every morning I've been filming myself making breakfast. Like a cooking show. One morning I was doing something else and my teacher got kind of concerned. He paused the lecture to ask why I didn't cook. That's kinda sweet. Too mad joined my Zoom class. My teacher was muted and gone, so he just yelled, "Okay, today we will learn how to skin a lion in an African accent." Hilarious. Who is this person you speak of online, human? That's so awesome. The teacher asked me a question while I was asleep. OMG, okay, so some kid was playing inappropriate, and in my opinion basic, rap music very loudly during the call. My teacher was like, everybody leave 3, make a new call, but she never did and I wrote a mace. It's not my favorite, but it's all those times where the teacher asks something and it goes dead silent. I feel bad for the teacher, but at the same time I don't want to take one for the team. The teacher often just sighs and goes on with the lesson. It feels really bad, especially if the teacher seems to care about his class. Somebody in my sister class gave the password to other people, so some kid from other school connected to the lesson and cursed at the teacher aggressively. This also happened in Lithuania. Same in my class. Italy. Fell asleep during a lecture only to wake up after lecture ended still on the Zoom call with 3 other students. Never exited out of a window faster in my life. I accidentally muted the CEO of a large company for everyone in the call who was guest lecturing our class. Stupidest thing ever. One that happened to my class was, we had a business studies class and our teacher is one of the best and coolest ones in the whole school. She was sharing a presentation with us and kids figured out the right feature and started drawing random shit until she got pissed off and told whoever it was to stop. Kid replies by writing, "Sorry ma'am." She asks, "Child, did you get everything?" The kid writes back, "Yes ma'am, you're a very good teacher," and she must have liked that because for the rest of the meeting the kid would answer her questions by writing on the screen and she wouldn't say anything cause it was always in the corner or something, not really interrupting. Then suddenly, a bunch of other kids started drawing random shit too and the odd kid writes, "Guys, no, don't interrupt the meeting," and she says something like, "Oh, what does this button do?" And somehow, she got a list for everyone who was drawing on the screen and she called them out. Nobody drew anything else for the meeting except the odd kid, and I'm sure as hell glad I chose that one subject to not draw anything in. One thing that happened to a bunch of 10th graders was some kid shared porn to the meeting and it got the school to ban Zoom calls, and the management decided to create a new Microsoft Teams it for every single kid using a newly created email it specifically for this using the school domain. Got our classes cancelled for 2 days cause they had to create all the ids, but it was worth stopping all the shithousery. Haha. In high school on our last stat lecture, a girl in the class had her microphone on and we could hear her ordering food at Taco Bell. The teacher called her out and asked her to mute, but everybody wanted to know why she just ordered a steak quesadilla with no cheese anyways. We're all arguing about the quesadilla and the teacher is trying to get us to shut up and she goes to the window and the kid serving her food is on our call and he just hadn't connected audio, so he gets on and we're all laughing about it. Literally, we all agreed to meet in the Taco Bell parking lot. Small town. And we all live 15 minutes from each other. We all left the Zoom call, told the teacher goodbye and went and had a senior taco party in Taco Bell's parking lot. Go French fry 14.8 hours ago, edited 8 hours ago. During a class my cat jumped on the keyboard. I proceed to take her off and do a very intense baby talk. Something like, "Oh, you're my best friend, little fluffy baby. UNHHHH so soft. Bobby baby best friend." Hard to convey in text, but add some incoherent cooing noises and kid pronunciation. Until I hear laughs and my teacher saying, "My mic is on." The cat apparently turned it on. Mortifying. Alright, so I had just switched to my new high school right before the pandemic and I was introducing myself to the class via Zoom. It was going pretty well up until my AP Lit class. The teacher was, in my opinion, smoking hot. Like it looked like she might have been fresh out of college or something. I didn't object, but at the end, instead of saying, "It was nice meeting you," I ended up saying, "It was nice doing you," followed by a pause, followed by an audible, "Shit." Then I left the Zoom meeting and drowned my regret and embarrassment with some Chinese food. Literally nothing, because the real world is boring. Join meeting. Relevant topics discussed. Leave meeting. Relatable. Joined a friend's class. Sat through the class and argued with the teacher about being in the class or LCMUNNULC1. I was yelling to my mom once about something silly. Wasn't really mad, just it was frustrating lol. While waiting for the class to begin about 15 minutes early, and the debate went on too long, and I came back to see it had started and all 15 students were online. I don't know if anyone heard me screaming or not because everyone was silent still lol. One hadn't yet clicked the join with audio button, and when I did my microphone was listed as muted. Any chance I'm in the clear? Anyone? No? LMAO. If you hadn't joined the audio yet, you're in the clear. Copyright. My teacher left in the middle of a Zoom meeting. Sadly, she didn't disconnect to go to the bathroom. This guy, I'm assuming her husband, came into the room. At this point, most people had already left to do something else until she came back or just weren't paying any attention at all. One was on Insta and didn't even notice him until this guy in my class called Davi pointed it out. My teacher has this office-ish section in the far corner of her room where she held all her Zoom meetings. Due to another ICC dent, we already knew that basically if you weren't in the office-ish corner of the room, you basically couldn't hear anything on the computer. Everyone still in the meeting started cracking jokes about how fat he is when suddenly he started changing. Everyone went silent, just stunned and disgusted, until a girl I think is called Miranda started making gag sounds and threw up. Everyone started screaming, including me. The guy finally noticed us and ran out of the room, his face bright red. My teacher finally came back and we told her everything. After that, she never left us alone on the meeting again and even moved the computer in the living room. Alae. A hot girl at my college flashed her tits right before the teacher entered the meeting. Niles. So I was in Portuguese class and this teacher sends a lot of exercises and then asks the students for the answers. In comes the turn of a classmate of mine to answer and he says, "I read it on Monday. I don't really remember the text." And the teacher goes, "You do know that I can see who opened the file I sent you, right?" And the guy is just silence. Meanwhile, I'm just losing it laughing. My teacher stopped our lecture so we could carry his laptop to the window and show us the turkey. UEHCIOW. He also had a dog that would be our pre-class pre-show and frequently bomb the stream. Not particularly interesting, but one time one of my classmates was eating chips while having his tome pru lacan nats lolime. Lame really Montine CMUIs LLA. Was bored in a lecture. Opened Animal Crossing and volume was all the way up. Then teacher unmuted me. Oops. Whole year assembly. Approximately 200 students. Principal and 5 other teachers droning about the value of risk-taking or whatever. Everyone's mics on mute, but suddenly we heard something. Y'all like cock and ball. Torture. Quote. From then on the teachers figured out how to automatically disable everyone's mics when they enter the meeting. Guy ejaculated onto the camera. Clams it was a sneeze. A girl was having sex with her camera on during a final. It was apparently an accident. The funny thing is that she didn't even look that into it. A student casually said, "I'm going to take a breakfast, I'll be back," while the professor was talking. Best moments so far. Ended an online quiz. Scored 9.25 out of 10. She asked me in chat, "Why did you end it so fast?" I respond as IDK. Then she said, "I would like if you took the classes more seriously," after I scored a 9. I said okay. She said she was going to talk to the principal. I said no problem. She insisted, saying I was going to have to talk to the principal. I said it's alright. She said she was going to contact my parents. I said no problem, go ahead. I was fuck it, we are online meeting. She didn't do any of those. We had a whole year grade meeting and some guy sent out the link to his friends from outside school. His friends came on the call with names such as Mike Hunt and other names such as that. Dude then gets suspended, which for now is he can't attend future Zooms. Our most strict teacher turned herself into a potato. Asked us how to change it. Us demons did not. Kid in my old high school decided to name himself Hentai Virus and played hentai in the background. Now the school is on a witch hunt for him for sexual harassment. It is an all-boys school and the discipline master is not particularly well liked, so no one has ratted him out yet. One of my friends forgot to plug in his headphones and started watching some videos with very rich language. He was playing it so loud we could hear everything. We don't use Zoom very often. Most of my courses use BB Collaborate, including my 2 summer courses. So in one of my summer courses we were asked to share something we wrote in a 3-people breakout group. None of us wanted to speak first, so we just remained silent for 10 minutes. Had a super chill teacher. I do online class normally, so COVID hasn't affected me or my classmates. We have a pretty small class. 9 of us plus teacher. Since Native American studies isn't very popular. One day this kid decided it would be a great idea to have a smoke session while our teacher was getting ready for our class. Teacher comes and sits down in his chair, taking a few seconds to look over some papers before looking at the screen. Meanwhile, Buddy is sitting on his bed 5 feet away from his screen, blowing a fat cloud out of his bedroom window. Teacher sees this and stares at him. All of us thinking he's gonna get in huge shit. Weed wasn't legal yet, and the teacher finally opens his mouth and says, "That was impressive. Name. Hope you're able to stay awake through class today," like it was absolutely nothing.